Hello everyone, welcome to Corpus, a universe of corporate job insights. So today we will talk about guesstimates. First I'll give you some tips that would help you in solving any guesstimate, and then we will solve one of the guesstimate asked in ZS. So let's get started. So a guesstimate is an educated guess you make about a number when actual data is not available with you. For example, someone asks you how many traffic signals are there in your city. Then you won't know the exact factual number, but still you can make a guess about that number, right? This is what the guesstimate is about. Now, when you are solving a guesstimate, typically you can use two different approaches. One is the top-down approach, and other one is the bottom-up approach. To make you understand how to use these two approaches, let's take an example. Let's say you want to estimate the number of burgers McDonald's sells in a month in your city. Now, in this case, if you plan to use the top down approach, then you can start from a high level. That is, you can start from the population of the city, and you can say that this is the population of my city, and X% of this population can afford to buy a burger from such chains. And then you can say that, and out of this, only Y% is captured by McDonald's. So basically, step by step, you narrow it down to get to the final answer by starting from a high level value, right? Now, if you want to solve the same problem using bottom up approach, then maybe you can start by saying that okay, this is the number of burgers that is sold by one store in a day, and then you can say there are n number of stores in my city, so you can multiply that one day sale with the number of outlets of McDonald in your city, and then you can say okay, there are 30 days in a month, so in a month this is the number of burgers sold. Now, which approach to use depends on the context and what you are comfortable with. But regardless of the approach you take, you have to break down your problem into components and devise a formula. For example, if you want to calculate the sales, then you can say that sales equals number of orders into average order value, right? And this number of orders can be further broken down into the population and the number of buyers, basically the percentage of buyers of that total population, and then orders that each buyer will make. So once you can calculate this number of orders, then you can put it in the sales formula and then multiply it with the average order value. So breaking your problem into components and converting it into a formula helps you because it will give you a structure. It will give you a structure to solve for, and also you can find one component at a time and then plug it into the formula and find your answer, right? Now, to do this guesstimates efficiently, it's helpful to memorize a few basic benchmark numbers before you go for the interview. For example, you can memorize the population of our country, the population of the major cities like Delhi or Pune, and what is the urban to rural divide, what is the average household size, what is the male to female ratio, and so on. Because these numbers help you follow the top down approach or the bottom up approach. And finally, remember this, accuracy does not matter here. What matters is how clearly, logically, and confidently you break down and approach your problem. Always think out loud, that is, explain what you are thinking and explain your approach before you begin solving. Now, let us solve a guesstimate which was asked in one of the ZS interviews. So, here we have to estimate the number of cars in Pune city. We can estimate this number of cars by using this following formula, that is the number of households into cars per household, right? Now, to arrive at this, we first need to estimate the number of households in Pune city, and this can be done using the top down approach, that is by taking city's population and dividing it by the average household size, right? Okay. Now, once we have the number of households, we multiply it with the number of cars per household, and then we can get the total number of cars in Pune city. So let's get started. So here we will start with the Pune's population, and we have taken the Pune's population as 72 lakhs. Now it is quite possible that you won't know the population of that city for which you are doing the estimate. So you just have to make a sound guess. You cannot keep it too low, like you cannot say the population is 1 lakh for Pune, and you cannot be too high like it's 10 crore for Pune. You just have to make a sound guess, and memorizing the numbers which I told you in the first part of the video, memorizing some of the basic numbers will help you make this sound guess for different cities. So once you have the population of Pune, then you can make a guess of the number of people in family, that is the average household size. So here we have assumed the average household size to be 4 people per family. Now this is also a just sound guess. We cannot say 1 people per family, we cannot say 10 people per family. So we have assumed it to be 4 people per family. So once you have made these two guesses, you can arrive at the number of households by dividing the population by average household size. So this gives us the households number of households as 18 lakh. Now when you have the number of households, then we can further eliminate some of the households by dividing them into income groups. There could be some household which are low income group, some which fall in middle income group, and some which fall in high income group. We assume that 60% of them fall in low income group, middle income group consists of 30%, and the high income group is 10%. So this gives us the low income group households as 11 lakh, middle income group as 5 lakh 40,000, and high income as 1 lakh 80,000. Now how this helps is you can totally eliminate the low income group. That is, these 11 lakh households, we can clearly assume that they won't have a car. And then coming to this middle income group, here we can assume that 80% of them will have one car and 20% of them will not have any car, even though they can afford, but they won't have any car. And the high income group, we can assume that 80% of them will have 2 car and 20% of them will have 1 car. Now based on these assumptions, we can do our further calculations. So once you have these assumptions in place, now let's go to the calculation part. So now we can say the total number of cars equals the number of cars with middle income groups plus the number of cars with high income groups, right? So for middle income group, we can say this 80% into the total number of households into 1 car per household. And for high income group, we have 80% into 1 lakh 80,000 into 2. And then similarly, some of the households have 1 car, so 20% into 1 lakh 80,000 into 1. This gives us 4 lakh 40,000 plus 3 lakh plus 36,000. So please note that here you don't have to be accurate with your numbers. You can round them off to the nearest power of 10. So accuracy is not important. And when you sum up, you have 7,76,000. So this is the total number of cars that we have calculated or guesstimated for the city of Pune. So always just remember, all these assumptions that you take, they just have to be sound, they don't have to be accurate, and your calculations can be rounded off. That does not matter. What matters is how logical you are in your approach to arrive at the final number. I hope this was helpful for you. I'll keep on uploading more guesstimates like this which were asked in GS interview. However, for now I have given a link of list of 30 guesstimates which were asked in GS. If you want, you can go through those questions, and in future I'll keep on solving those questions. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.